lot of nuts!
Listen, I want to start this video by making it clear that I have not played Elden Ring in its entirety, okay? Some of you may notice on my Steam account that I have many hours in the game, but I have not been able to pass through the tutorial. It's not because I'm bad at Soulsborne games. It's because they weren't made for me, okay? It's the one thing I don't click with. It's my one invaluable fault as a gamer, okay? I can't handle Soulsborne games, and I'm not very good at 30 FPS fighters because it gives me a headache watching that frame rate, all right? It's one of few things. But really the main issue is that how am I supposed to progress through this game when it makes it basically impossible to do so with no bitches? Everybody's got a solution for me. Sumet, you can't handle the game because you're playing on easy. I've got the true ending in Persona 4 Golden on very hard, thank you very much. I think I know how to game. The issue with Elden Souls, Elden Born, Blood, Elden 3? What game are we talking about? Sumet, you gotta pick a class, you gotta choose a play style and get the equipment to surround it. You gotta learn to dodge roll. You gotta memorize your enemy's moveset so that you can avoid damage better. How about you guys memorize some phone numbers so that you can better not avoid women in real life, huh? So what is Elden Ring? Clearly we know it's a video game. It's all about acquiring some bitches, or as the game calls them, maidens. Again, I haven't played it, so I can only assume that's your #1 task while fighting through these monsters. In research for this video game, I've been able to learn absolutely nothing. I tried to start out by finding out where Elden Ring is based, and I have reached absolutely no conclusion. Florida? Ohio? One of these other silly images that are over my shoulder? It looks like all of them. Where do the maidens come from? What does this mean? In the game, basically, the first NPC that you meet outside of the tutorial area informs you that you are maidenless. This is old medieval talk for lacking in bitches, which is really crazy that the whole core game mechanic, story dynamic is surrounded around this meme that's been on the internet for ages. And if you know anything about Elden Ring, the game must have been in development for years. So I'm thinking that somebody at the game studio must have a sense of humor. Is it any surprise that a game that requires you to acquire a maiden ends up being one of the most fascinating and intricate games of all time? I mean, it's won numerous awards, nobody's shutting up about it online. Despite its difficulty, people have already clocked in hundreds of hours in trying to acquire a maiden. Perhaps the old adage of give the people what they want is untrue. Perhaps it's actually give the people what they could never feasibly acquire in real life, but let them play a video game. Where am I going with this? Obviously, when designing the game, they probably paid no attention to the no bitches meme, but the fact that the story requires you to acquire a maiden so that you are no longer maidenless, so that you can throw the Elden Ring into the fires of Mordor, has resulted in fueling the fire for more people chatting about the game online. For instance, Tilly Monkfish on Twitter states that the no bitches meme coinciding with Elden Ring to evolve into the no maidens meme has been a godsend for the English language, granting us the new phrase maidenless behavior, which you can use to describe some absolutely maidenless behavior. For instance, we're 3 minutes into this video and I haven't even shared a Yu-Gi-Oh meme yet. That, by definition, is maidenless behavior.
First I activate the spell card, Death Ritual! I pay 2,000 life points and send the Gat of Destruction and Dark Magician to the graveyard, allowing me to summon a fusion monster. Oh no! Behold! Dark Magician with a Gat! Holy shit, he's packing heat!
Transition? Listen, I might not have a lot of hours in Elden Ring, but I do have a few hours in Dark Souls 3, the game that released before this. I managed to kill the first boss and make it to Firelink Shrine, at which point Internet Historian in my Twitch chat told me it'd be a good idea to kill the lady by it and try to fight the knight. And then the knight chased me all through Firelink Shrine and I didn't really know what to do after that point. My point is I understand the game mechanics, okay? You have bonfires in Dark Souls 3. What do you have as checkpoints in Elden Ring? Grace. You have to touch grace in order to make a checkpoint. Seems a little bit like touch grass, doesn't it? The common thing that people tell you when you're lacking bitches over on the internet. Hey, stop spending so much time online. Go touch some grass. Hey, you've got no bitches. Kind of close to no maidens, huh? Touching grace, lacking maidens. What's next? Did you, let me guess, you didn't ask? You don't care? L plus ratio, is this Elden Ring or Twitter.com? So what happens when you do try to get some bitches? What happens when you actually acquire some bitches in Elden Ring? Well, once the player reaches the round table hold, they can meet Fia, who will allow them to embrace her. You can hug this female. This is as close to acquiring a maiden as I've ever experienced in my life, although it was just middle school Valentine's Day and she was being nice, but either way it counts. If you do so, she'll actually give you an item that if you use it will increase your poise. The problem, as players learned through absolutely no given information through the game, is if you have this item in your inventory, it gives you a health debuff. You have less life after embracing this woman. It seems innocent enough, and you think the game would want you to acquire some bitches. This seems like the right way to go about it, and yet no. You are punished for this. Somehow, paying attention and allowing a woman into your life reduces your overall health? I mean, at least they got something right in this game. Am I gonna stop hugging this woman every chance that I get? No. Sure, it shortens my lifespan, but what's the point in living longer if you gotta spend it alone? The internet's a cold, cold place without embraces and Yu-Gi-Oh memes.
I can still hear his voice.
Gay, homosexual, gay.
Meta this, meta that. Have you ever met a fucking girl before?
Touch grace, get yourself some maidens. These are all things that are put in the game by the game designers. But one cool thing in Soulsborne games is you can leave player messages. Messages on the ground that other players can walk up to and read. Sometimes they will point you towards some secret area. Sometimes they'll tell you there's a boss that you should be careful not to get ambushed by. Sometimes they'll say, try finger butthole, or locate hole, implement seed, and other hilarious. I'd like to remind everybody that this game is rated M for grow the fuck up. These messages can be incredibly trolly, as you know, in a game where everything's a little bit secretive and you gotta find stuff out as you go on. There isn't exactly a guide to a lot of this. So a lot of the messages can be ignored. However, messages that point you towards a secret path or a hidden room are typically something that you can check out without too much disdain. I mean, you throw a bomb at a wall, you discover a Triforce, what's the harm? Elden Ring went one step further with it being like the 5th or 6th game in the series. User Iron Pineapple on Twitter posted a 30-second sped up clip of him having to hit a wall multiple times before it actually revealed a secret entrance. So while you might think you're being trolled into just throwing your sword against a seemingly empty wall, maybe you just need to get good, scrub. I understand that's not exactly a meme, but I figure a few of you are legitimate Elden Ring fans and this might be some useful information to you. So don't ever say that I'm just here dicking around and I don't provide valuable information. Every 8 minutes or so, there's always a little nugget of usefulness in this show. Dark Souls games are known for being extremely difficult. The combat in these games are really what make it something unique. When you're fighting something, you don't get to spam attacks, you don't get to just throw things willy-nilly and heal as much as you want to. When you throw your sword at somebody, you really got to dedicate to that move, because if you mess up, you're gonna get punished. Game is difficult. Does that make it a meme? No, but General Radon in this game has a bit of a phase change that's kind of annoying.
Huh?
Fuck this.
Next meme.
I'm sorry, but a comet? The thing that wiped all life off of the face of the earth thousands of years ago? What was I supposed to do, parry it? Was I supposed to dodge roll out of the comet? All right, let's lighten up for a little bit. Comet bosses are a little bit BS. But not all parts of the game need to be as difficult as the internet might make it seem. You remember those player messages that people leave? You can leave them yourself. And people can appraise them, basically giving them a updoot, like on Reddit. If they do so, it makes it so that your player message is a little bit more believable, has a little more credibility to it. And when you do so, you actually get a health buff on your player. If a player in another Elden Ring universe, server, whatever, decides to updoot your Reddit comment, which is a great mechanic, except much like on Reddit, people have found that you can farm these updoots. If you post a message that's just sort of enjoyable enough for someone to give it the old thumbs up, you can effectively have infinite health forever if enough people give you a thumbs up, which has led into people doing the age-old internet adage of farming up dutes in Elden Ring. They'll refer to stuff as dogs. It's mostly referred to with the plethora of tortoises that are located in some of the sections in Elden Ring, but one player left a message that said, "Praise the dog," and in front of them were tortoises. But people found this interesting enough to give enough updutes to this comment that that player is now basically immortal with all the health buffs that he has received, which is an interesting mechanic. If you look at dogs, you gain life, but if you pay attention to women, you lose life. I can see why this is becoming Game of the Year. In my research in Elden Ring memes, I have found one in which people will compare the weapons and skills that they have in the game to anime fight scenes. Unfortunately, through the half dozen that I've looked through, I don't recognize any of them, so I can't make any smart, funny comments about it, but I'm gonna play the clip anyway. Maybe it'll make one of you guys smile. I think the lesson that we can all take from this is that in your pursuit for maidens, you have to not get distracted. Perhaps the lack of bitches that you have were the friends we made along the way. While making friends along the way, don't forget to hit the like button so that you can catch me every single week. Remember to click confirm after you hit the unsubscribe button. I'll catch you guys at the next grace. Spisu.